As an autistic ADHDer, I've spent a lot of my life contending with perfectionism. It's driven me to great lengths in terms of personal achievement, trying to accomplish many great things, and then when I've accomplished them, setting even higher goals to accomplish and being on an endless pursuit of these goals, often at my own expense in terms of my well-being and my social relationships. I've always been in pursuit of accolades, approval, recognition, and acceptance. And I linked in my head from an early age that if I could achieve these things, if I could be perceived as being equal to or greater than the average person, maybe that social acceptance I craved would come. And I arrived at that because from an early age, as an undiagnosed neurodivergent person, I didn't have any insight about why I was struggling. All I had was the criticism, the disapproval, the mockery and the bullying of peers and adults who didn't understand my difference, didn't care to understand my difference, didn't offer me language, didn't offer me a diagnosis. All I had was this cumulative burden of perceived failure, of where I failed to hit the bar of what neurotypicals perceived or described as being normal. And then I had to spend the rest of my life, it seems, going forward, overcompensating for this, trying to prove my way out of inferiority. I know now that none of that is true, that I'm not inferior, that I'm not deficient, I'm just different. And that I have challenges like executive dysfunction, sensory differences, motor skill differences, differences with social cognition, all these things that I've learned to overcome or compensate for so that I can function according to how society deems to be normal, right? Like I've hit the bar. But for a lot of my life, I've been dogged by that perception that there's something wrong with me and that I have to prove otherwise. And that I do that by winning that applause, those accolades, and that approval. And it's a slippery slope because it's conditional self-worth. You're only as good as the last thing you manage to accomplish. And as Kristen Neff, the author of Self-Compassion, says, it's like you having to slay dragons every day. Every day is a monumental effort to disprove this hypothesis you have about yourself being inherently inferior. I know that it drove me to those lengths, like I mentioned, and it was exhausting and it depleted me. And my recovery involved recognizing this narrative that I was telling myself in the back of my head and coming back into a position of self-compassion, going from self-criticism, believing that I had to lash myself constantly to accomplish and achieve so that I could win that approval, to a position of, well, I can only try my best and it's, the greatest effort that I can give without burning myself out, but I have to draw the line somewhere and I can't hyperfixate on making everything completely picture perfect. I'm a human being. All human beings make mistakes. I'm therefore okay with making mistakes. And I still have high standards for myself, but as part of my recovery effort, there's sometimes I have to let things slide. So for example, posting a video every day, I record videos very fast. I usually check my appearance, but there'll be something wrong. A dog hair hanging off of me, some weird kind of like deodorant stain in my armpit might be showing. My shirt might crumple in a certain way and then show the interior of my shirt, my belly. And I'll go, oh no, oh no, oh no, and I'll start spiraling into perfectionistic self-criticism. And then I just have to go, that's good enough. Hopefully people will be understanding that I'm a human being and that I can't do everything perfect all the time, especially at the volume at which I'm churning out videos. And I can make that allowance, give myself that mercy, give myself that grace, and not have to lash myself and criticize myself about it. Put something out into the world that is a little bit less than perfect, but the gist of it is solid gold, right? I make sure that the content is important, and even if my presentation isn't always the best, or something might be not completely right with the framing or the lighting or my shirt or my face, whatever it is, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. If I have a pimple, I'm still going to record that video every day. I have that commitment to myself as part of my recovery journey to get over perfectionism or to try to contend with it in a constructive way, is to just go, this is going to be good enough. I'm not going to be a maximizer, to use terminology from the book, The Tyranny of the Choice. I think it's the Paradox of Choice. This tyrannical perception that I have to get the best thing and be perfect all the time. That's what a maximizer is. Instead, being a satisficer. It's just going, this is good enough. What I'm putting forward is not going to be perfect, but that is fine for the purposes of what I'm doing. Leaning more into that satisficing mentality rather than the maximizing mentality. That has done a world of good for me and eased the pressure to always be performing and accomplishing great things. Have you struggled with perfectionism, workaholism, overachievement as a neurodivergent person? Are you still battling it? What have you found has been helpful in terms of letting go, not having this kind of death grip on having to accomplish and achieve and be perfect? I would love to hear from you.